Hey everybody, it's Kelly and I'm in Black Thread Studio getting ready to sew today and just bringing you along with me for the ride. I had other plans this weekend, but if you saw last weekend, let me back up a minute. I did say hello, but welcome. Welcome if you're old, welcome if you're new. Thank you for being here, and what do I want to say? I'm glad you're here with me just to share what I love to do. I am not here to teach you how to do it. I am just here to do things, and if anything, show you that if you don't do it perfectly, or if you don't know what you're doing, if you have the desire and the love and the heart for it, that we can make it happen. So as a matter of fact, what I'm doing today, I think I've only actually done, well, this technique, I'm making a bag for Hadley. I want to do a square bottom, and I think I've only done it once before, and I'm going to do it lined. So I'm not telling you this is the way to do it. You're just watching me to see if I make mistakes and to cheer me on. And if it turns out, then we're going to all be excited. So anyway, that's what we're doing here. So if you were here last weekend, I shared with you this free download that I got from Fox and Rabbit Cross Stitch Designs, and they did this as a free giveaway, I believe for their 1,000 subscribers, when they hit 1,000 subscribers on their floss tube. And Brendan and Karen, I really, really like them. I enjoy watching them. So if you do or don't, I think you should hop over, and if anything, wait till you see how cute these little cherry monograms turned out. So I did show you last week. I did finish the K for me, Kelly, and I did finish the J for Jim, and I'm just going to turn these into little pillows to put on a little black and white checkered tray that I have in the kitchen. And I was maybe going to do these this weekend, but honestly, I'm not going to have time, because last week I showed you that when I started what I thought was the K, it was really an H. And I thought, well, I need to finish that for Hadley. And then I was also telling you that I had that mermaid cross stitch that I was working on for her. So when I started back into cross stitch, kind of dabbling last fall, I picked out from Leela's Studio the Serena, best way to show you that, the Serena pattern. And she has a little trunk with needle and thread. And Hadley, my granddaughter, she's turning 9 on September 9th. So if you celebrate golden birthdays, this is a big one for her, because it's 999. 999. So I wanted to have something kind of special that Grandma made that she could keep. And I wanted to make this last year for her birthday and didn't get it done. Then I was determined that I was going to do it this year, and I talked about it last weekend. And I don't know what I think. I thought I had like a month before I had to have this done. So I didn't work on it at all. And then I was talking to Hadley yesterday. We were doing FaceTime, and it just hit me. I was like, oh my gosh, whose birthday is coming up in like a week? I don't have time. I don't have time to do this. I have to get something mailed out for her Monday if she's going to have it for her birthday. So this is what I had done. Let me see if I can fold this up so you can see it. So now my new goal, and I was going to just make this into some kind of really fancy pillow with like velvet on the back and pom-pom trim and all this stuff. So now my goal is that I will have this done for her for Christmas. So let me show you what I have done. So, I mean, it's enough that there's no way I could have had this done if I would have stitched on it all week. Do the other seaweed here in the trunk, and then there's a little water detail up on the top. I could have had it done, but I didn't. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, so I started, had that H halfway done because I thought it was a K. And I finished that last night, and I thought, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make Hadley just kind of a cute little drawstring bag. And then what I'll do is, I believe, when she was little, maybe a year or two, right away I started a little charm bracelet for her, like a Pandora style. And I have sent her birthday charms, other charms. I wanted something special for her golden birthday, but this is what I have that I picked out, was a butterfly charm. And we all kind of know what butterflies signify, you know, kind of cocooning out and becoming something. And I don't know, all of a sudden she's not, I know she's only 9, but all of a sudden she's not that little girl anymore. So I think at the end of Paige, she went back to school the other day, started 3rd grade. So Paige sent a really cute picture, and she's in that stage, you know, not quite a little girl, not a teenager, kind of that in between. And I'll throw some younger pictures of her, and then the one from the other day, so you can see she's a doll and a sweetheart, and the love of my life. Her and her brother. Is that fair to say? You don't love your grandkids more than your own kids? It's just different because it's different, right? You don't have all the other stuff with it. So I don't know if that made any sense, but you know, grandkids. So anyway, in the pouch that I'm going to make, as I'm rambling on, I'm going to put her Pandora charm, and then I think I'm going to stick some nice money in there because that will always be fun. And then the little bag, hopefully if it turns out the way I want it to, it will just be a really cute little bag. Who doesn't love to have a little bag that you can stick little fun stuff in, little secret stuff in? So I'm going to show you what I have picked out that I'm going to do. So I just made up this really quick sketch. I was like, okay, what do I want to do? It's just going to be really simple. I'm going to do the H in the middle. And last weekend when I did the friend exchange, I kind of stacked and did strips of fabric around that hello that I did for Cece. I'm going to do that. And then, so here's what I'm going to do. I'll show you the fabrics I found. And then just make a drawstring bag. And what I want to do is box off the corners so it's not just flat, so it has a little bit more oomph to it. So I will bring you down here. How about that? And I'm trying not to say so I notice I'm saying and a lot. I kind of really liked this. I didn't want it to be too matchy-matchy. I wanted it to be kind of fun. So I'm going to strip this. This is, I believe this is K-Facet. Yeah, I do. It could be Amy Butler, but I think it's K-Facet fabric. So I'm going to piece it in strips, make sure that I get a lot of that red in there. And then this is going to be the body, the black polka dot. We'll go up against that. Then this is going to be the lining. And then what I want to do is just a little strip for the drawstring. And then I found, so don't you think that would be really cute? Of course I picked out a little yo-yo. Oh no, you know what I think I had this sitting here too. Maybe I was going to do that as the lining and then do that as the strip. I think that's what I was going to do. And then, of course, I found just a little funky yo-yo that I had in my jar that I'm going to put on there. And then for the drawstring, I love black and cream. Not so much, I do like black and white, but it's a little bit more contemporary than I like. I really like a little bit dirtier look, I guess. So I found this perfect black and cream ribbon on Etsy, so I wanted to share that with you. This is from the Paper Sandbox, and there's the card. I have a ton of ribbon in a cart, in my, save for later cart on Etsy from them. This says they do quality ribbon, embossed bags, and craft supplies. With it came this really cool embossed tag. Isn't that cute? And the perfect ribbon. They sell it in yards. So I'm going to use this for the drawstring, and probably put some kind of, embellishments or some kind of like a tassel or something on the ends. So we are just going to go get started and get going on making Hadley's birthday bag. So I haven't really decided yet what size I'm going to make it. So I'm just going to start cutting my strips and sewing, around, and make this the center, the little H the center, and just keep stacking fabric and then kind of get an idea how big I want it to be. So I'm going to take the little floral fabric first. And again, I want, let's see, I want to make sure I get this red in here. So I think I'm going to cut, I don't even care if they're the same width. I'm just going to cut some strips. So cut that one. This one, I am going to even that edge up a little bit here. I'll just even that up and then cut another little strip so that there's some red in there. This would be a nice little kind of reddish pink. And I need 4 of them. So I think I'm going to come back and use that. So with the length of this, I will have plenty. It looks like I need a new blade, doesn't it? So what I'm going to do is, I wonder if I should have done that thicker strips. Do it so that there's going to be that red in there to pick up on the cherries. Did you see what I did? I didn't like that next to that. It was too much. So that will be better. Okay, I'm going to make my little centerpiece and then come back and start cutting strips for the black polka dot and sew those on, and I'm going to use this for the backing as well. So I'm going to get all that cut out and then we will come back and put it all together. After I started looking at it, what I decided was that how big I actually wanted this. What I did is from the edge of each outer part of the initial, I measured out 1 inch and then squared it up. So now I can go ahead and stitch the little strips on and have that be a nice center little medallion there with her initial on it. Here's my first strip sewn on. So I'm going to press this open and then I'm going to just keep stitching. I'll do the next one, the next row, I'll press that open, then I'll do the next one, press that open, and then I'll end up at the top. So I have all 3 sides stitched, and it was kind of fun to lay out and see what part of how much of the pink or the red that I wanted to show. And I didn't show as much as I thought I wanted to down here, but I really it was fun to lay it out with the cherries and see what I was gonna like and have this as the background. So now on the top, I'm trying to decide if I like that. That was my plan, was to do that big one against the top, or I do have this strip of that little one that matches the side over here. Let me look at that again. I think because the other, or do I like it this way? Maybe I like it that way. I think that's gonna be it. I'm gonna get that stitched down and then we're gonna start piecing together the blanket. So as I was ironing this down and looking at this, I kind of got this idea that I think I'm just going to, I think I just want the center monogram part to be a little bit puffier and to quilt it and then stitch the black. So this is a little bit more, I don't know, just has a little bit different texture or puffs out a little bit. I don't even know if I'm going to put a backing on it to stitch it together. I might do this double just like that because the bag's gonna be lined. So this is gonna be covered anyway. And last week I did that crosshatch, and you know what? I think I might do it on this too and make that double. Okay, I'm gonna try it and then I'll come back and show you what I did. I thought I'd better show you what I'm doing. So I did grab my ruler and my water-soluble blue pen, and I am doing the crosshatch just like I did last week, if you saw that with my friend exchange. And I'm just marking, going both directions, corner to corner, and then I'm measuring 1 inch apart, just spacing those 1 inch. Redo that one. And then I'm just gonna do a little quilting line to make that crosshatch. And then that will make my little H in the middle a little bit more important and make it puff out and stick out a little bit more. I could go hog wild with this and do pockets and everything on the inside of the bag. But I didn't leave myself enough time to do any of that, so I have that marked up with the blue, and we're gonna put the cross hatches in. So all quilted up, I did a double layer of the batting with the crosshatch. And you know what, the crosshatch, I think it's one of my favorite things because number one, it's so easy. It has a great look and a great effect. And look at the back, even the back is so pretty, just on that batting. So I grabbed my little squirt bottle. I have an empty bottle of glasses cleaner from work that I fill with water. And I am just going to see if you can see how that blue disappears when you get it wet. Can you see how that is just disappearing, the blue? I don't want to get it too wet because sometimes when I press it and iron it, then the blue comes back. I'm going to have to press that a little bit to dry it out so that I can still keep stitching on it. But most of that blue came out. So I'm going to trim this down, and then I need to figure out what size I actually want it to be so I can get the back piece cut out and then get the strips cut out that I'm going to add to it to see what the actual size is going to be. And then I need to cut out my strips for where the ribbon's going to be, and then the lining. So we're moving right along with Hadley's birthday bag. So I did want to show you guys that I am squaring this up. My whole camera is almost falling off the table, so let me move you a little bit. That I am squaring this up just like that. But in case you're wondering, while I was cutting off the other pieces, let me get that real quick. Like, these are truly just trash. I can throw those away. There are some things that you can't throw away, or I can't if you're like me, which are these perfect little pieces. And let me show you what I do with those. This is a basket with all my scrap pieces in it. Do you guys have something like that? And is it this big? It's so big that sometimes I don't even decide not to. You know, it'd be fun sometimes is just to dump it out and really see what's in the bottom of this. Oh, look at that cute little thing I must have made for something. I don't know what it was. It has a binding on it. Anyway, that's what I do with all my scraps. So I figured that you guys have something like that too. And that's all evened up. And we're gonna keep going. Okay, I've been busy and I will catch you up with what I did. So I had to figure out some measurements. So on my piece of paper here where I drew out what I kind of wanted to do, I jotted down some measurements. So I decided I wanted it to be 10.5 inches square. And I decided that because after I measured my finished H here, is it upside down? Yes. After I finished my H, it was 6 inches. And I just thought that like a nice, what would that be? What is that gonna be? 2.5 on each side would make a nice little, border. So I cut my back at 10.5 inches. I cut my lining 2 pieces at 10.5. And then what I did is I cut 5-inch wide strips. What did I do? I cut 5-inch wide strips by 10.5. And what I did was I just started sewing on the side. And then as I stacked, and you can see this is wider, I kept going across the bottom on the side, and then on this top one, which is 10.5, which is gonna be almost my finished sized, what I did is I found the center of my H, and I found the center of my 10.5 inch last strip, and lined them up. And that's how I decided where I was gonna stitch this on so that this strip would be the right length. And now I'm gonna trim all this down to 10.5. And then, oh, I was gonna tell you, so I wish you could feel this. It's nice and padded. It feels kind of rich and luxurious and special. And all I did was stitch it to the back, and then everything I pressed just open. And I am gonna come back now and trim all these seams down after I get this cut down to 10.5 inches. And then I also started getting my little decorative drawstring strip ready. And what I did is this ribbon was, I think, about 1.25 inches or 1.75 inches. And so I cut this strip, I'm looking at my notes, I cut it 9.5 by 2.5. And then what I did is I folded over my edges and sewed those down. I'll have to come back in and trim down these little strings here, these little threads. And I stitched that down so that my, it doesn't get caught when I use my safety pin to run the ribbon through. And then I folded it in thirds. And then I used that cute decorative crosshatch stitch right down the middle to sew that back so that none of this will get caught when I'm putting the drawstring in. So I will come back in and trim down all those threads. I was thinking about using black on this, and I could have, but since I thought I had cream in my machine, and I thought it would just pick up on all the other cream. So what I'm gonna do is get this trimmed down. I'm going to go ahead and get my back and my front sewn together, right sides together. I'm gonna do the same with the lining, and then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna figure out how to do that little boxed corner. Okay, so what I have done so far is I have my lining stitched together, and what I did is on the end, or on the bottom inside, I left a space open where we're going to be able to turn this inside out. This is the top of the lining, where I will stitch to the inside of the bag. And then this one, I did my seam allowance a pinch deeper than the outside of the bag, just so that it'll be just a tiny bit smaller. So when it turns inside out, it's not going to be all bunched up on the inside. So on the actual outside bag, I already have that stitched, and I already did the corners, and I'll show you how I did that. And then what we'll be doing is fitting this together and getting it stitched together. So to do those corner edges, what I did is on these corners, I just finger pressed these seams open really well. And then that's the flat, and then this is the bottom. I'm gonna pinch that while it's open. So that's the bottom, and this is the side. And what I'm gonna do is pinch that and line the seams up just by feeling them and looking. Match that seam up, and I'm gonna put a pin in it to hold that. And then I measured my corners at 1 inch. I imagine it probably depends on the size of your bag, but I'm gonna make sure that that's laying nice and flat. And then I'll bring you down to the cutting table here. So let's see, I'll use this. By the way, this tool also is really good for pressing your seams open. I lost the cap to this end, but that's like a little picker pointer thing. So that pin's gonna be in the way. Right here, where that dovetails out in that corner, I lined up right at one of my inch marks here in that corner. I put that right on the dovetail point, and then I'm going to come down 1 inch, and I'm just using a Sharpie number 1 so you can see, and because I just had it sitting there and nobody's going to see it. So I have that one marked, and that little line is going to be my stitch line. And I think while I have that line nice and flat, I'm going to go ahead and stitch that, mark the other one, and then come back and show you. So that was the other little corner I just did. I had it pinned. I measured that inch down. I have both, have little dogtails. I did do a reverse stitch on both ends just to make sure that was nice and secure. On the outside, I actually went over it twice, and I'm just gonna trim that off. And I'm actually running out of time to work on this right now because I have to go get my mom, and Sam's coming too. But I'm gonna turn this inside out so we can see. No, that one has the hole on the bottom, so let's turn this one inside out. So I might have to come back and finish this later on today or even tomorrow with you so that I can go pick them up. But this is what the little corner is going to look like, the little squared bottom, if you can see that. I only did this once before, and I think it was on the house doorstop that we did. Oh, look how cute that's going to be. And then I'm going to come back in, and after I stitch the lining in and do the little drawstring, this, I might have gotten this too long. I might have to shorten that a little bit. After I did the seam allowance, I'll see on that. Oh, it might be just about perfect. So we will continue on. I'm going to take a little break and see you in a little bit. So I'm going to continue on for a little bit longer. I turned the lining inside out and shoved it in and pinned. I'm pinning right sides together, and then I'm going to go all the way around the edge. I lined up the side seams and opened those up and just put a couple little secure pins in there. I'm going to go all the way around the edge and get that stitched together. Now that I have that all stitched together, you do want to be careful. I did get it a little bit puckered because I did have the inside a little bit too much stitched, a little bit too much smaller, but I think it's going to be okay. So I'm going to pull the lining out. I'm going to use that little bottom slit that we left open to turn this inside out. Getting excited. Get that turned inside out like magic. And then what I'll do is just machine stitch that little closing in the bottom. And what I'll do is just line it up, give it a good little press there, stitch that, and then we can turn it inside out, or not inside out, tuck the lining in. And once I get all that lined up and pressed, that will be the lining. Then I can get our little straps put on, decorative drawstring straps, where I'm gonna pull the ribbon through. Coming along. So here I am back with the finish of Hadley's birthday bag, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. The only thing I'm not sure about is I think I should have done the drawstring a little bit different, because it's really working best just to pull it to one side to close it up, which will give her a little bit longer handle. And I know how I should have done it different, but I'm not going to redo it at this time because I've got to get this mailed out. But when I did the lining, I did a little fold because I wanted to see some of this at the top edge when it was all ruffled up. So I just pressed that, and then I came back in and I attached my little strips that I made for the drawstring, and I strung that through. I think I'm going to try one of these bigger this fall and do the drawstring different and talk about why I would do it different and why I think it will work better. But for right now, I think Hadley's going to love it. I have the yo-yo there. I found these, I had on this old card, these little teeny, really cute aqua delicate old buttons that I put on there for Hadley. I have said this before, I really don't like buttons when they don't have this, you know, any thread in there. But once again, because I'm in a hurry and I had to get this done and mailed out, I just glued those on with my liquid stitch glue, as well as the yo-yo. And I am so happy with the way that turned out. Again, that is the Cherry Monogram Initial pattern from Fox and Rabbit Design that you can get as a free download on their website. And I have my little label on there. And we will say, happy 9th birthday, Hadley. I hope you guys enjoy a really great day. Bye-bye.